All right. Process you can repeat from time to time, especially when you find yourself thrown off balance by electromagnetics, or if you understand that there is a planetary event coming, a lunar event, even solar event. They are all part of your creation, and yet at a distance, they are archetypal in nature. And so a different sort of process is needed to benefit from those resonances. And so we have time for questions. John, who will begin?
Monica.
Can they unmute?
Oh, no, they can't. Hang on, Monica. Okay.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Katina and beautiful Tara.
Steer
That was that was remarkable. I was thinking about that earlier today and yesterday, and see how beautiful the message was implemented in this beautiful meditation. When we believe, and never doubt the white light. I mean,
in
I believe in you, and I respect the other energy, but I would like it just to stay away because the light always wins.
they
All
are all
right.
one. They are all one. So as you understand that more and more, then the choice is easy. The choice to be a part of it all, not to be anything you do not wish to be, but rather to allow that which is for your highest good to prevail at any given moment. And so tell us, where do we begin?
Yes. I wanted to ask you, as this planet Earth has been to a lot of different histories, it went through different eras, and this one is getting out of hand. Um, and I know I said it before that this is planet Earth, and the Earth was vibrating really high during Atlantis, Lemuria, and during the 80s era. People were fanatic happy in this at planet Earth. So I wish that technology slows down, and the one who was doing started the electronic car, the T guy. I just really think that it's unplug the brain from the universe, because it just this is humans. This is not magical with driving a vehicle. This is planet Earth. So I'm my gratitude to this beautiful planet, and it's the Mother Earth has waken up, and there's so many storms right now, Matara, that would concern anything with the planet. But some there were some fishes that a million fishes, something never happened before, came up above water. That's alarming. That they're so deep and they suddenly came up. Anything on that? That's really interesting, Tara.
All right. And so the most important thing is to remember it is all part of your creation. As interesting and fascinating as it is, and it is easy to think this is not me. But as you yourself begin to understand, oh, there's a range of possibility of what can be at any given moment. Anything that is in your illusion is there for you to respond to. Certainly so, as you are responding, oh, I don't like this, or I love this, or I like that, or I don't want to have this be in my future. Those are all for you to assess and determine and work with higher self on, okay, what's in it for me? Why is this in my reality? So as you were talking about technology, of course, what immediately pops up is lifetimes in Atlantis. And Atlantis was had its glory days, but also had its times of destruction. And so technology can be imbued with all of those energies, the whole range of energy. You can be in alignment and you can also be against it, or you can be fearful of it, or you can be reminded that, oh, I have the capacity to create marvels, and I have the capacity to destroy worlds. Each of you, as creators of reality, have the full range available to you. It is through your alignment with goodness, truth, and beauty that you understand the differences. That, oh, well, the ends never justify the means. And so you always look to see, how can I lovingly create my next step? How can I dream a world where goodness, truth, and beauty prevail? All of that is the in alignment, is in harmony with how things are. There are no, you might say, bad choices, though you may have consequences for some of your choices that you then have to experience, but you can choose the consequences too. So as you say this or something better, and I also create the consequences. And so I'm going to dream the dream where the resources that I gather also take me to a place of vibration, a state of being that allows me to create more and more of what I truly desire to see in the world, in harmony with earth consciousness, in balance with nature, in dominion with others who inhabit the planet. Does that help?
It is so beautiful. I was going through every history. I know the beautiful Egyptians era and then Atlantis, and I know Atlantis has a capacity. I know they're still alive in the universe, and we learn from it. And I really wish that, please, my creation, for the God's sake of a planet, from this beautiful airplane, that it just ends, and slows down. And I wish that
So we lost your voice, John.
Oh, I don't see any problem. Monica? She's not muted or anything. Monica, we can't hear you. Huh.
All right. And so we'll go on to the next person and we can circle back.
Okay. Sorry, Monica. Okay, the next person is Francis, but he's not here. So, Teresa.
Hello.
Yes, dear one.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Thank you for
Yes, what a
having
pleasure it is to have you here this evening. Tell us, where do we begin?
This is a personal question. I've known for a very long time that I'm a teacher and to share what I know spiritually. And I think in the form of meditation, transformational meditation, but I've always been very reluctant to share myself in that way. Well, I don't really share my spiritual life with very many people other than, like people that are here with us tonight. So I don't know if it's just a fear or if it's from another lifetime, because I, I think I've been teaching for many lifetimes, and healing as well. So I'm just curious if you could help guide me through this. I did do a meditation today around this subject, and what came up was um, not letting in the joy that this will bring me, for reasons of feeling guilty and possibly lonely if I'm full of joy. So that, I think, is part of it. But if you could help me explore this deeper, it'd be so
Absolutely.
appreciative.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So just take one moment before we begin to explain anything, to invite your higher self to simply lift any shame of being that might be there related to this topic.
Okay.
Can be from other lifetimes, can be from this lifetime. Doesn't matter where it's from. It can be generational, ancestral. Just allow your higher self to lift it and return it to the point of origin, wherever that is. And you may or may not know where that is. It doesn't matter if you don't. The important thing is that in the here and now, you are free of the shame that has you feel the guilt, that has you separate yourself from joy. And we would suggest that was a contract that was made. And you can ask your higher self to let you know with whom. And as you get an image of that or a sense of that, you don't have to have images if that's not your way, but simply understand that I made an agreement not to feel joy until everyone else was okay. And yet, your soul is ready to return. Your shadow will return the you, that aspect of you that holds the joy. And so in your mind's eye, see your shadow perhaps appears as a being cloaked in a dark cloth, or perhaps maybe comes as a being of light. Whichever way your shadow comes, it is an emissary of your soul and holds sacred that which you have not incorporated into yourself, that which you have rejected along the way. Whether in this lifetime or other lifetimes, you can receive what was lost, what was set down by you, what was contracted out, so to speak, deleted. And so just receive that joy back into you, into your heart, into your mind, as a beautiful light, and just feel it being absorbed into you. And now, when you're ready, just open your eyes. And let's talk about being a teacher and what does that mean? So, in your consensus, teachers are revered for who the influence, the impact that they have. So, when somebody has information to share with others, there is a responsibility for impact that comes with that label. Whether you are healer, whether you are teacher, whether you are guide, doesn't matter. The need to know that you create the impact also is what's holding you back. What if I don't create it good enough? What if I have negative impact? What if I harm somebody with my teachings? But as you begin by setting a foundation that generates the positive experience always, the truth of the way that you work with others who are an illusion to you or are more real. And the concern really comes with when you are impacting someone in the more real. And so let's work on that level. Your higher self co-creates reality with you. Your soul and spirit also are co-creating with you. And ultimately, God and Goddess are all contributing to this illusion that you are creating. And as you ask for help, and that is why you had to have the shame lifted first, ask for the help from your higher self. Attract to me only those clients, customers, whatever, beings, souls who are ready and willing to grow, for whom it is for their highest good to experience the teaching I bring, the process I bring, the knowledge that I am holding that is sacred. for whom it will be for their highest good, with harm to none, with elegance and ease, to receive that at this time. And in exchange for that service, you can certainly request payment or another form of energy exchange. However, it is important to exchange energy to allow them to gift you a form of gratitude for the service that you bring. So when we say all of that, what comes to mind?
Thank you. I really received all of that. It went right to my heart. Well, firstly, I did receive, I felt that I was holding back until everybody's happy, and
Yes, and that day will never come.
right. Thank you for
Yes,
bridging that
as much as you long for that, when you really let in, it's not for their highest good to be happy all the time. They are here to have an experience of life, and there's a range of experiences that are available to each of you. And so it's important not to put conditions on the need for it to be laid out perfectly, because what that is about, and it makes total sense that you would want to be totally safe in your endeavor, and you are, but you're not safe because of them. You're safe because of your connection with your higher self. You're safe because you create your own reality and the consequences. And you are not alone in creating. You are truly a co-creator of reality. And when you let in the love and the light that is higher self, that is soul, that is spirit, that is ultimately God and Goddess, and that is the space within which you teach, you already know the impact will be wonderful, will be beautiful, will be positive. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. You're right. I have to realize that I think you said like it's not, conditional. In other words, there's always going to be ups and downs in life, and yeah, there's never like a utopia moment where everybody's going to be happy.
And truly, you have that as an ideal, and that is wonderful. And we talk about bringing in the new world of dominion.
Mhm.
In a sense, at this stage, imagining that world feels like a utopia.
Right.
And yet it will have more dynamism, more energy, more life force in it as the individuals who show up create and co-create beautiful, magical realities.
Yes. And I need to honor where everybody's at. In other words, it's okay, if you're not in a great space, because everybody's here for different things. And I don't know what those are, but I can respect it.
Well, yes, and also as you understand that the teaching you bring forth is what brings the healing,
Yes.
is what shifts the state into a more beautiful state. And so initially, you're probably going to attract more clients who are in need of the teaching,
Yeah.
because those who already have the resonance, they probably are busy doing their thing.
Right.
And so we're not saying you're going to continue to create a world that has problems, but at this moment, in that urge to teach and share and make a difference, the world is waking up. And those souls that are waking up are ready for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we encourage you to move forward in whatever way is for your highest good, with harm to none, with elegance and ease.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes, we love you so. All right, John, who is next?
Henry, let's see. Monica's back.
Oh,
Just a
We'll
second.
finish up with Monica first.
Is she still back? Hey, Monica, can you Can you, let's see if we
Yes,
can.
I'm still here. Sarah?
Wonderful. We lost you for a moment there. And so let's just conclude. Tell us what is important for you to share before we end with you.
I since I was little, for me, I've always wanted. Well, anyway, I just need like what's important to me right now, and to move forward for the things that I need to accomplish. I'm having a little bit of a stagnation. Um, maybe because I'm in pain in my jaw. I've been having a lot of pain in my jaw lately. Um, I don't know why I have fear of doing. I can do it in my mind, but when it comes to facing the people, I I don't want to do it. But I can do it in my mind. I know it's taken care of, but then I just want to ask, would any for me on all of that with technology and everything you said? Can you help me or anything specifically to I know people hear it.
So what's important is your body has a consciousness, and it is of the earth as well. It is you, your higher consciousness, and earth consciousness, and it taps you into your unconscious mind beautifully in a way that you cannot possibly yet understand fully, though you understand it quite well. And so when your body has a reaction, you must honor it first. You must say, okay, I'm having a reaction. I have tightness in my jaw. I have pain. I need to find out what's the source of my pain. I need to heal it at the source. And I need to give my unconscious mind permission to show me what the information is so that the pain dissipates. That you don't want the pain. You don't want that form of teaching. You prefer to have a more gentle form. And yet, if you are about to take action and your body has a reaction, you must first ask, okay, what must I believe that this is happening? What was there an earlier time where I spoke out and I got slaughtered or I got hurt in some way? Do I have a belief that speaking the truth is painful or leads to pain? All of that needs to be cleared up. Your body is helping you by letting you know there's something inconsistent in your belief system with what you are reaching for, speaking your truth, making a difference in the world, and what you have in your current belief system. And so that just needs to be cleaned up. That just needs to be revised. So what would be a better feeling thought? What would be a healthier belief than if I speak my truth, people can hurt me or will reject me or will punish me? What would be a more optimal outcome that you would like to dream? And then what would you need to believe for that to be so? So as you go within and work with higher self and heal the child, heal the adolescent of whatever those issues are, and then come back to the now and say, okay, how important is it for me to speak out about this? Have I dreamed it enough so that when I communicate it, it is not with hostility or with righteous anger? Have I come to a place within myself where the most loving thing to do is to create the reality that I want with harm to none? Does it help?
Yes, that was very beautifully said. And one last thing on that, Tara. I'm having a lot of activity around me. I think you know. I know you know, and I'm honored. I'm honored. And the ones who see it, they question themselves, how come they don't? Well, uh, maybe because their faith is not strong enough in the source. And we all are here in different paths, and we all have different lights, I believe. and I'm honored to have what I have. And the respect is that I just don't want to be. I'm sorry, but in this human plane I'm created, I don't want to be messed with. I don't take that very easily. It's like solar flare, get away from me. What I mean by that is I like to be in peace, harmony, and I don't want to have a plaque of people because I'm not the commander. I'm not the chief. That's up.
All right. And so absolutely boundaries are important. Working in your safe space, the meditative safe place that you have created, that you have designed in imagination, in meditation with your higher self. Begin there of assuring yourself that the light that you are has a boundary of safety, that your higher self is with you always, is a given, and yet it's easy to forget in the density of the physical plane. The density of the physical plane can cause a level of disconnection. You must effort to reconnect with your higher self. That's what these Monday nights are about, to make it easier and easier. Oh, yeah, I have a higher self. Oh, yeah, I'm not alone. Oh, yeah, I can connect at will. And in that connection, in that love, in that higher resonance, the miracles, the joy, the love, the magic all occur. And also the new ideas of what do you want instead occur in those resonances. And so to spend time when you're out of sorts, when you're afraid of something out there, or you don't think it has anything to do with you, regroup, come back into center, and dissolve the illusion. Just simply clean the slate like it's a whiteboard, and you just clean it up. Now, what do you want next? What version of reality would you like to engage in next? And as you include your higher self, it doesn't have to be against what was in the past. It can be something brand new. It can be something unfamiliar to you. It can be simply something that came, an idea that came in your imagination, in your dreams. And so as you allow yourself a little more freedom, yeah, I'm on this mission. I know my purpose. I'm here with purpose. Included in that purpose is to consciously create success and to learn to have fun. You must have both. Cannot have success without the fun. And so to begin to imagine, what would it be like to be full of joy? To be successful in joy, in love. To really know that whatever success you create is going to be fulfilling you at a deeper level, because you're going to create it consciously. You're going to grow from it. You're going to expand and become more of who you truly are. And the illusion changes with you. All right, we love you so. And so now we'll turn to Henry.
Hello, Tara. Thank you again
Yes,
for
yes.
another meeting. So it's been a very odd week. I think I say that every week, don't I? But I know just a lot of the time I'm feeling I just can't make anything work today, and my phone's really up the creek, and I have found somebody that can mend it, but I still have to do a bit of work with some of the data that I just need information. But so anyway, but I've been putting that off, and the in the coaching on Thursday, I was given a very good kind of rigorous view of not being able to of looking into the future and just seeing negativity and not thinking, this is where I am. So where am I right now? I'm worried about that this is going to fall apart, and I'm worried that that's going to happen. And John was wonderful about just getting me into that place of and then, like with all these things, like with a Monday night, whatever I discuss, it just becomes intensely intense the day after, in terms of I just can't think of anything else. I mean, it just becomes very intense, and I know that that's the opportunity
So
to
so
work with that
just
kind
to
of,
refine what you just said.
yeah,
So the fear and the doubt isn't about the now,
right. Well,
meaning you
uh,
might feel those things right now, but if you stay in those feelings, you are also projecting them into the future.
yes, exactly, yes,
And you begin to believe, this is where beliefs come in, that that's the only way you can be. You begin to create an identity around this is who Henry is.
yeah,
So that's the downside of not interrupting the pattern.
yes, and I understand, and I can see it, and
Yes. And one of the ways that you have successfully interrupted it, as we have worked with you over the weeks, is to step out of your space, your environment, familiar environment, step out of it into a world that is more looser, is unknown,
yeah,
has many other possibilities because, well, it just depends on who I meet. It depends on what space we're in. It depends on what activity we're doing. It as soon as it involves other people, you are outside of yourself once more, and the fear and the worry and doubt might have been there before you approach them, but once you begin exchanging ideas, it goes away, doesn't it?
yeah, changes, yes, absolutely,
Yes. And so you have the ability to change it by changing the conversation in your head.
right,
So when you go out the door, you change it through a very physical means.
yeah,
Someone else in your reality acts as the counteracting resonance. So when you come back into your place, you have to take that on for yourself. What am I going to allow to be that for me? What
yeah,
am I going to have in my environment that allows me to have a different conversation than fear, doubt, and worry? So, for instance, if you know that you're not alone, that you have a higher self,
yeah,
that you have more than a higher self, you have a soul.
yeah,
And when you work with soul, you activate your spirit, and your spirit goes and gathers new energy to manifest something new. And beyond soul and spirit are God and Goddess, the source of all light, all love, the source of who you truly are. And you have mechanisms. You have talks with Lazarus. You have talks with us. You have other teachings as well. You have your creative work. You have your Zoom calls with other actors or directors or whoever is part of that artistic creative expression that you are in. You also have your photographs. You have your your equipment. You have meaning your phone is a piece of equipment that can be a camera, and you have cameras most likely. So as you begin to look at, well, what's the structure of my day? And where do I tend to sink into the past or into the now in such a way that I don't see any hope or future that I want? I only see the one I don't want. So as
right.
you look at your routine, when does it tend to happen? And what could you do instead during that time? How could you change your structure so that you don't end up in the pitfall?
Yes, well, it's particularly strong in the morning when I'm debating with myself whether to Well, I'm lying in on my sofa and just trying to get out of bed, and it's just, there's just this resistance to getting out of bed, and I know that I shouldn't be lying there, and I'm asking my higher self for help, and then I'm not really, and trying to talk to my child and adolescent, and feeling I'm not really connecting very well, and so as I can't get myself out of bed, everything is lost, and that's not a good start to the day, and I understand that. And another thing is to get out the door, at least to be able to see the nature and the beauty outside, which I do manage to do quite briefly. But there seems to be more and more resistance to doing that, and
And
I
so
don't
just
quite.
as we spoke with Monica about her physical body telling her where the problem lies.
Yeah,
So that resistance that's happening isn't for no reason. It's between you. Holding on to that resistance is the message. I'm holding on to it
yeah,
because I feel safer, more comfortable holding on to it. Because if I step out into the unknown, if I be more free to be, then I don't have the same level of control. There's less predictability. I might have less of what I want. So I might as well minimize my activity. I should shrink myself. But shrinking yourself is contrary to what your soul has in mind for you. Your soul is urging you to grow, to expand.
yeah,
That's the natural order of things. So then you have to look at, why would I contract and constrict when I am supposed to respond to growing and expanding? When did I get the message that it's safer to constrict?
yes,
When did I decide to do that? Now, the obvious answer is right now. I do it right now. And then you have to ask the coaching question that John and Katrina use often, which is, for what purpose is constricting?
yes. Well, especially as I know that that is not safe. That is absolutely not the safe way to go.
And yet it is chosen again and again, not for no reason, but because it's a pattern of behavior.
Yes,
It
I
was
can see.
it was implemented to be, it was all I had at the time. It was to avoid the domination of an ugly world, perhaps, or an uncertain world.
And to avoid punishment for doing it wrong. And
Yes, all sorts of important responses that you, as a child, you would have not had any say over. You would have truly been the victim. But now Henry is not a child. Henry's a grown-up, and beyond the grown-up, you're a spiritual adult. And we know you are because you show up for the Monday nights. So we know that you have a path of spirituality, that you've done enough work to know that my resonance really matters. And when I show up, I create magic.
yes, and I've done that quite a lot this week. In fact, when I did show up.
And then there's the question of, well, I have these problems, some of which are persistent, some of which you actually would do better delegating to someone who has more expertise. And so you always want to ask, do I have the skill to deal with this problem right now? Or do I need to get help? So many of you are sitting on top of problem after problem because you don't know how to deal with it. But the question of, well, who can I get to help me doesn't really enter into that I'm all alone. and I've got to figure it out, and I can't figure it out, and I don't have what I need. Nowhere in that equation of loneliness is creating the reality where someone magically appears and helps you with it. And yet you're a magician. And you could ask for that. You could say, I'm going to create somebody who has the knowledge, who has the expertise, who has the ability. With harm to none, they're going to come help me. So you have done so with the phone. Well done. Now you have to actually let them do their job,
Yeah.
which means hand over the phones. Oh my God, what if they lose everything? Well, they're no use to you now.
Yeah.
And so what's the difference? Except that you have an inkling of an opportunity for them to make it all better.
Right.
So we're using that example because you made progress in that area. But there are other problems where, as you really let in, wow, I really am so caught up in being all alone and figuring it all out so that I don't get punished, so that I don't get rejected, so that people will love me or like me or accept me or whatever's there. And it's all so foundational to who you are.
Mm.
You are a being of light and love, and you know when it's missing. But your child has strategies that diminish the light. Your adolescent has patterns that reject the love. They're getting in the way. They need help from you and your higher self, not the you that is adaptive. They need the help from the spiritual adult you who does have connection. And then you turn it over to your higher self and say, higher self, I don't know what my little boy needs, but I see him shrinking and avoiding punishment and being unhappy, and I need him to be different. For his sake,
Yeah.
I need him to be free to be and to be safe and nurtured and loved and nourished and magical. And I need my adolescent to know that he's okay and that he is worth loving and that he does belong to you and your higher self at a minimum. And when he's back in balance in a world that accepts him as he is and as he is not, now he's safe to feel curious and go explore a world that is there for him. And when you let that be how it is every day, something changes in you
Mm.
because they're no longer the ones filtering the information that you're getting. And that's so important. It's not easy yet. We understand. It takes effort to take off the glasses of the adolescent or the child. But they are in the more real and they need your love. They need your acceptance. They need your solutions. And those come in the form of, guess what? We have a higher self who is all powerful, all knowing, all seeing, and will take care of any problem you have. And as you see your child and your adolescent consistently get what they need and what they want, you might start letting in that your higher self can do the same for you. If you would let your higher self be a part of your life at
Yeah.
that level. So that's what's next, Henry.
Yes. And yes, I have been finding this week again that when I ask for, you know, I want to, I want a wonderful, I wanted people to come and have a great conversation with me, and
Yes, and
also,
they do.
and
And
then
then,
I want to go on
yeah.
this wonderful art party a few seconds later, and other just amazing things, and then I get into a space of, oh, it's not going to work, and then I'm thinking, well, but it works in those areas, and I'm not. I'm kind of asking for help, but not expecting it in the things that seem so threatening, like the well, today particularly. I have help from the senior centre with meals, and they've suggested that I get help from a social worker and so on with the bedbug problem, and I'm not doing that because I have fears about what what I should be doing with the bedbugs in terms of how I'm supposed to report it immediately to the I mentioned that before to the management here, and so I'm not doing that. But then today I was going to the senior centre for lunch and knowing that Shana, the manager there, would she's really trying to help, and I was just thinking, well, she's just going to cut me off, and that's what I deserve, and and then I'm asking my higher self, to make it something different, and um, I'm just thinking, well, how can it be different? Because I just haven't done anything. And as it happened, we didn't talk. But I was just getting such a state about it that I was just thinking, I can't do anything. I can't move. I just kind of get frozen with it. And yet it just seems such an obvious thing to just do things. But it's so intense.
And so what would be the cost of allowing someone to truly help you? What would you lose? What is it that you gain by fixing it all by yourself without help?
Well, I can't fix it by myself. I don't
Well,
think.
exactly. Your higher self won't let you have a circumstance where you continue to be the only source of reality making.
Yes,
It,
I just think
it,
that I'm.
that is the doing it alone, doing it all by yourself, being alone.
Yeah,
That's, you might say, is bankrupt. It doesn't work anymore.
no, I know that.
And so every time that you refuse the help from outside of you, in whatever form it comes,
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you don't discern. So as people are making recommendations, okay, I'll do this or I'll do that, or I don't like any of those choices. I better get back to creating something I want. But there is a cost to not receiving and acting on some of the information.
yeah. It's
So,
all I.
so now you have a world view of, I'm in trouble. I'm being punished. Who does that sound like?
Yes. Well, my mother and father. Well, father really.
Yes. And how old were you, do you suppose, when you really got in trouble all the time? Just for
Oh,
existing.
well, for yes. Um, Well, from an early age, I mean, from
Yeah.
being young, I mean, very young.
Yes.
And I know what that's about, that,
But you don't
that,
want to, it doesn't need to be your child's past.
no,
It doesn't need to be the way it is. It served its purpose. You came in, activated some energies that you then knew, oh, okay, this lifetime I need to resolve these things. And they're kind of weighty because you have other lifetimes that also require healing.
yes,
And so you've been going along for many years doing that work successfully. And this is the last little bit. What you hold on to when you consider, what if I'm not really all alone? How much have I invested in a story that says I'm really all alone? When in truth, you are not.
right,
It feels like you are, and you have beliefs around it. But as you're reaching for something more, a higher truth, a more fulfilling life, to be connected all the time, the belief that you're all alone isn't a resonant match for being connected all the time.
right,
And yes, it was a lie that you were told when you were very young, that you deserve to be punished, that you deserve to be all alone, that we're going to leave you all alone until you learn your lesson. But why would you hold on to that now when you can change that? So as you just take a moment and let your higher self lift any shame that is still there.
hmm,
And just be in that place. Close your eyes and say, higher self, within yourself. Just say, higher self, I don't know what needs to be lifted, but I need help asking for help. And I need help receiving that help. Something got broken and twisted in me as a child, and I can't take it with me. I need to end it. So how do I know it's been lifted? You just know that it is.
hmm,
It's been lifted because your higher self has the ability, exists in a different resonance
hmm,
that doesn't have shame. So shame of being is when you feel you can't do anything right, you're always doing something wrong, people don't like you, people reject you, you're going to be punished, all of that. Those are all words of shame. Shame of being. And the shame often was sourced by a contract. And when you looked at what contract did I make with my father, what contract did I make with my mother,
hmm,
where I agreed not to be something. And that goes into the shadow.
hmm,
And it's usually very specific language, but in this case, just let it be that it's been lifted. And then begin to do the healing work with your infant and with your young child. Different ages will show up. Just be with the one that shows up whenever they show up. That's the one to work with. It's really critical for who you are becoming.
yeah.
And it's not that you haven't done this before, but this is a new level of commitment from you. I want to be done with this stuff. I want a new foundation, free of the past, free of shame.
Hmm.
And when I heal it in me, as I am doing right now, I heal it in all my lifetimes. The ones that haven't been able to forgive or haven't been able to receive forgiveness, that's a matter of shame. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. Whatever the rationale behind it is a contract of shame. I won't let myself receive what I need until I prove that I'm worthy. I'm going to earn it, earn it, earn it, and it never is enough. I'm going to give until they get so sick of me for giving everything away that they'll finally see that I need them. That's shame. That's a contract, an agreement not to ever receive, not truly, because it's in the giving that you get what you need. So all of these forms of shame they tend to show up as manipulative behaviors. Each of you look into your own life. Where do I tend to think I don't deserve? I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. And you can know that in that area, you manipulate to survive that thought. And all that is needed is to lift the shame so that you can let in the worth that is given from God and Goddess. You can let in the unconditional love that is given by God and Goddess. You can really own, I am a being of love and light first. And my existence matters. And I've been trying to earn my right to exist my whole life. And I have stopped myself from being who I am, from making the difference I can make. Now, Henry, you have been exploring, well, what if I set it aside for a while and I go out in the world and I see what kind of impact I have? And you notice, wow, this is a lot more fun. And it is. It's so much more fun. And now
Yeah.
you just want to expand it into all of your life. You also want it to be how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
I need to be there for me. And the way it first shows up is I need to be there for my child. I need to be there for my adolescent. I need to be there for my young adult. And eventually that giving love and receiving love, because the child that is free loves you unconditionally, adores you. The adolescent who is truly curious and full of wonder and out in the world knows that he belongs to you, and you get that belonging back. So you see, once you have that restored, you can treat yourself differently. You can actually choose what's the loving thing to do today. What helps me build self-esteem, build self-respect, build self-confidence? And activating self-awareness opens you up to the worth and the love that is given.
Hmm.
And doing that, being self-aware, opening that channel of communication is loving yourself more. And in that resonance, you make different choices. All right. And we know there's one more, so we'll go for now. We love you so. And you're right on track, Henry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Helen.
Okay.
Hi, Tara.
Yes, dear one. Where do we begin?
Well, first in the meditation, with the colors at the end, mine actually was kind of this swirling black and purple, like maybe a purplish gray. So I kind of just let it be that way. And then because you were saying it's got to be gray or black or white, I kind of like I made it gray, but then I'm like, that's not what it is. And then I did gray, black, and white. I don't, whatever the significance of that is, it was just interesting to note. And then I'm kind of playing around with the idea of wondering what is, I never give as much importance to my physical body. Like I think my unseen friends and higher self and spiritual side is more important. And I'm trying to heal my thyroid, and I've been doing big healings around forgiveness with my mom and the Jewish community, which has just been unbelievable. And so then I'm kind of expecting my thyroid to heal more and wondering, just kind of wondering, do I have, I'm just kind of assuming like because I've done like I feel like I'm doing the metaphysical work, I'm trying to communicate between my throat chakra and my heart chakra and not dominate Harry and listen better and I'm doing it. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing it a lot more than I was. That the thyroid will just heal because it's just my body. And I'm just kind of curious about that. I feel like maybe my understanding of the physical body is not balanced somehow enough because I am physical. But I keep hearing, it's just an illusion. The physical is just an illusion. And so maybe I'm not, but maybe I've gone too far in that and I'm not balanced. And so I'm curious to talk about that. And then I'm trying to figure out with the first draft of my movie script has come out great. And it really just downloaded. Like normally I'd outline it, I'd understand my plot points, my character arc, and the way you're supposed to write it out. And I didn't do any of that. And I do think that like particularly the third act kind of it's not got enough tension. And the other thing is, I understand the Palestinian American main character Nadia way more than I understand the Sarah, the Jewish American main character or counterpart. And I don't want to go into over analysis, but then there's also this fear because I'm a Palestinian writing about a lot of American Jews. And so how do I know when when Sarah's journey it's right now, it's not as deep as Nadia's. Doesn't feel as deep. Whereas, but how do I know like that I'm not trying to overanalyze or I'm just in fear versus when like it's good enough.
So the first thing you said was there's not enough tension. So work on that part of it. What's important about having a certain amount of tension in the plot in that third part,
Act. Yeah.
third, so that there's a more concrete resolution, you see, so that there's an epiphany or an aha, so that the audience rejoices as they get the message, as they understand what's happened. They're going to have, it's not necessarily a problem with Sarah.
Hmm.
If it is, your Jewish friends will point it out.
Hmm.
If it's, but it's really more about the main character and what are you not letting the audience know about her?
About Nadia.
Yes, in the third act. What if they knew more about what she was really going through would make the difference?
Oh, that's interesting. It's interesting because I thought I thought Nadia and Sarah are equals and they have to learn each other's perspectives equally. But, Nadia, it's the one movie, I've written a bunch of first drafts of different movie scripts, but this one, Nadia is really me. And whereas the other ones, the main character becomes their own person. And so I know Nadia so much more in depth. And, um, and I kind of thought Sarah's sort of Harry. And there's two of Harry's nieces that she's kind of a composite of Harry and two of his nieces, that I know quite well. And, but of course I know me better. And so I know Nadia better. So I've been trying to make Nadia's part and Sarah's story equal and their learnings equal. But what you're saying
And
is
you
that
can do that. You can do that, but then you, as you say, maybe you would need to get somebody who's Jewish and who would understand the perspective of Sarah to weigh in on, well, what would they want to hear? What would be important for them to know about Sarah at the end of the story?
and but I don't have to, it's what you're saying, I don't have to do that. And if I don't do that, it's really focused on what do people need to know about Nadia and Nadia's perspective. So it's
Yes.
kind of my choice of which way I want to take it.
Yes, write it both ways and see which one has more attention, more interest.
Hmm.
Not as a win-lose,
Right.
but as a priority of subject matter. So if Nadia has been the more vulnerable character, and then it might be important to continue that. And can that accomplish your goal for the movie? You may find no, they have to also love Sarah. I need to spend more time on her.
Hmm.
Does that help?
Hmm. Yes.
All right. And then as far as your body goes, okay. So we want you to consider that your physical form, your physical vehicle is a gift from Mother Earth. And your soul inhabits and enlivens and perpetuates the physical form that it is. Each and every day is a brand new you. That part is not yet in your consensus belief system. And it's very difficult even not to say, yeah, but I have these aches and pains and I had them yesterday and that's why they're here today. But it's actually because the belief is still there, or the attitude, or the thoughts and the emotions, or the choices and decisions. The matrix of that is why the body appears the way it does today. So you're working on magically creating reality. And by the time you're done with this lifetime, your body will be as fluid and flexible as you allow your beliefs and your attitudes and your choices and decisions and your thoughts and feelings to be. Because the here and now reflects what are your raw materials that are at work at any given moment. And it's not simple, it's not black and white. There are shades of gray. And so you asked, why is the gray there? Well, why is it black and white and gray? Because part of your unconscious and your subconscious, they need permission for all three versions of reality. There need to be more shades of gray, not so much duality. You want to be able to get to where you're going without encountering the black and the white. There's treasures in all of them. And the black is not all negative. The black is sacred, is one of the colors of the goddess, the crone, the wisdom. They're all part of that void, that willingness to go into the void that is, in a sense, unspeakable, does not have words, does not have concepts, is ancient, is powerful, is grounding. Equally, the light can be incredibly magical, incredibly enlightening, can take you home just as easily, maybe even more so, because it's more comfortable, it's more safe, there's more consensus around the light. The gray is an interesting mix. It's not a mix of black and white, it's actually all the in-between energy. So when you go into the liminal, you're working with this resonance. The aspect that's capable of resolving paradox. Yeah, but this is this way and this is this way. How do we get to something more? When you sit with both, something new emerges, a higher truth. And in a way, that's what you're doing with your movie script. You have Nadia, you have Sarah. And when you sit with both, something new emerges, a new possibility, a new reality. It requires both of their journeys for you to have a whole story emerge. And so the gray is very important for you. And the fact that it was blended with purple, how wonderful, because that's the color of the higher self. And it's also about vision. So as you spend more time, perhaps, in the liminal for balance, but you still need the black and the white also. They may not be as comfortable because in a sense, there's a sense of absoluteness. I'm either or. But that's not true. I'm all of it. And so that's why the comfort in the gray. That's why it showed up, because you are here about integrating it all. You are here to find the balance and the harmony, regardless of which energy you're in. They're all wonderful. They all have intention within them. They all provide healing energies. So you don't want to avoid any one of the three. You want to take what you need from each one, but you begin with one, whichever one you began with. In your case, it was the gray mist. That's what's most safe. And then you go into the white and you gather of the light. And then you go into the void and you gather from the unknown. And then you're able to come back to the gray and assess and balance and harmonize. Does that help?
Yes. So with my thyroid, do I use the gray energy with my thyroid as I'm trying to figure out what do I want to do next?
So here's the way to work with it. So you wake up into your physical body and you move about and you make an assessment. You look in the mirror, you take a walk, you fix your coffee, whatever your morning ritual is. And in that sort of semi-conscious state, you're evaluating, who am I being? What's my body doing today? Is it creaky? Is it tight from stress? Is it relaxed? Is it flexible? Is it energetic? Is it lackadaisical? Do I want to sleep more? So you're evaluating all of that seamlessly. You're not thinking it so much as noticing. And in that noticing, you're evaluating, how's my day going to go? I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be active. I'm going to be full of energy. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to be tired. So which one is automatically there is the clue to what needs to be worked on. So if you have an anticipation, wow, I think my thyroid's acting up because I feel really tired. What if it wasn't, what if you didn't correlate the two? What would be possible if you look to see what's my tiredness really about? What do I tell myself it's about? But if I keep making it about my thyroid, then that's what's so. Not because you want it to be, but because it's connected. What if you disconnected the tiredness to, I'm doing this supportive work for my thyroid? And somewhere along the way, I'll actually get feedback from my reality that all this energy work is working. And then I have this tiredness. What am I going to do about the tiredness? What is it really about? Am I connecting and refilling from source often enough? Am I disconcerted, worried, doubtful, fearful, whatever, about my pets, about Harry, about my life, about my future? Or do I just say, well, I didn't sleep well enough. I didn't get enough hours of sleep. Or I'm not getting good nutrition. Or I'm partying a little too much. Whatever it is. Can be whatever you tell yourself is what's so. But start allowing yourself to deal with the tiredness as a separate topic than the thyroid. So that the thyroid can get all that energy and make use of it and then not have to deplete itself so that you can feel tired. As you disconnect the two topics, the tiredness will resolve differently than before. You will start to look at, well, what do I do that makes me tired? What kind of thoughts do I have that make me tired? What have I been denying myself or avoiding? What am I stuffing down? Or judging myself around or judging others? What's that tiredness about? It's an indicator that I've suppressed myself somehow. Do I feel unsafe to speak up? Is it because I'm getting to a point with this movie where people are going to see me? Just a possibility. Doesn't mean it is there. Or what am I avoiding doing that I know I should be doing? So Henry's a good example in your reality of that. I know I should be doing things, but if I confess to an authority figure, then I'll just be punished. That's the pattern. That's not necessarily there for you. But if it is, notice how that would affect your energy level. So you have ways of recharging your energy when you feel tired. You can take a nap, a few minutes, can often reset the clock. 5 minutes or a little bit more are just right. But if you haven't had a good sleep, maybe you need more sleep, then maybe an hour. And just or exercising often generates a lot more energy than it takes. And then you have physical tiredness, but not energetic tiredness. And that feels better. So what we recommend is do that process of separating the two and then come back and let us know what you notice.
Okay. And then the other thing that I've connected with my belief that I've connected with my thyroid is when my thyroid's wonky, I gain weight. So I've gained about 12 pounds. And my belief is when the thyroid heals, the 12 pounds will just go away because that's what's happened in the past. And because I didn't eat anything extra to get 12 pounds. It just
It's
appeared.
metabolizing differently.
Yeah. So I now like weigh myself every morning, and because now like okay, yeah, it's because the and my belief is it's the thyroid, but so for me to get it off, it'll my belief is it'll come off, but I also have to like eat a little less chocolate or a little fewer, one cookie fewer or whatever. And so I'll weigh myself in the morning just to make sure, okay, did the decisions I made yesterday, you know, do I want to make different choices today or not, depending on what the scale says. And I also think that is, I've got to somehow, maybe it's not healthy to weigh myself every morning.
Well, it is
And
if it's a measuring device, but you don't want to not do the future imaging work of seeing yourself the way you want to be and how you want to feel.
Mhm.
So as you segment and tend, well, I feel better. I feel lighter. And then the scale, look, the scale reflects that. It's down, I'm back down into my normal range.
Mhm.
And that feels really good. So as you generate that sort of imagery in advance, giving your subconscious the message, this is the reality I want. I want to feel this way. I want to think these thoughts. I want to behave this way. And when I look at the scale, it's going to give me the number I want to see with harm to none, with elegance and ease.
So it's okay to weigh myself in the morning.
Of course.
Yeah, because I don't feel like I'm not punishing myself mentally when I do it, but I do need to decouple it from the thyroid as well, I guess. Yeah. Can I just will my metabolism to metabolize differently?
Yes, you can. With harm to none, though. Metabolism is your body is a machine. Your body is a perfectly balanced machine. It's doing what it needs to do to make sure everything works. So you don't want to, without your higher self's input, you don't want to make adjustments to fine-tuning just one or two specific things
Hmm.
when that could throw something else off that you're unconscious about. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
more important to get the permission from your body consciousness, from your unconscious mind. Hey, if I make this adjustment, I want it with harm to none in such a way that's for my highest good. Is it all right for me to make this adjustment? And your unconscious mind will tell you yes or no. And it'll say why it's not a good idea or why it's a really good idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, and you've heard this where you have, if you have some kind of treatment or you go on some kind of health regime, and it's all with good intention. Oh, I'm gonna be the perfect weight. I'm gonna have the best amount of energy, and then, and it works for a little while, and then at a certain point, it stops working because your body is telling you, hey, you need different raw materials now. And so this communing with your body, connecting and communing and getting more information about what's appropriate right now. Because your body isn't living in the past or the future, it's right now. And so it's got cravings or signals that are about what it needs right now to be in balance, to be in harmony. And the more you increase that rapport and that communication, the more your body can be available and give you appropriate information that's for your highest good.
And I mean, one of the things I realized today is I have a fear of taking the prescription medication
And why is that?
because
What would be the fear?
um,
What's
when
known?
I first,
What is known out there about it? What are the facts that you've been given by the medical community, which have done the tests or whatever?
so when I first got diagnosed with hypothyroidism, I said to the doctor, well, why did my thyroid stop? Why is it unhappy? And they don't like the main, and I go to Johns Hopkins Community Physicians. I'm not going to Acme Crackpot Doctor Inc., or I was anyway. And and they never did any tests. Like it's not part of the protocol to try and figure out like why it goes wonky. They just want to give you this prescription medication and take it every day for the rest of your life and go away. And at one point they said go see an endocrinologist, and I did, and they really just take the pill, go away. And so I actually did that. I was dumb enough to do that for 8 years. And then after 8 years, my energy got bad. I gained like 20, 30 pounds, um, which got me on this like hunt for a functional medicine practitioner who actually chased down the symptoms and got me a lot healthier. And there's a whole book written, and the title is Why Are My Blood Tests Normal and I Still Have Thyroid Symptoms? And this doctor, who's a fellow at Harvard Medical School, talks about this whole problem of the medical community that just wants you, when you've got a thyroid issue, to take a pill a day for the rest of your life and go away and actually not chase the symptoms down. And so I guess I have this fear. I didn't really think about what's underneath the fear until you asked me, but it's this: if I take a pill every day for the rest of my life, I'm gonna stop hearing what my body really wants. And wouldn't it be better if my thyroid just restarted itself? But then I'm not being metaphysical and saying, well, okay, but there still is medicine that I've created as a magician. And how do I know if I take it, um, that I can hear what my body really wants from me?
All right. So there's two questions there, but as you sit with each one, which is do I want the reality where I listen to my body and my thyroid is part of my body, part of that communication system. And I also want to trust that the things that I put in my body are for my highest good. And so anything you ingest, you evaluate daily. Is it working? Is it not working? Is it helping me? Is it causing any kind of problem? In time, you can see whether or not it's actually adding to your health or detracting from it. In reality, as you're looking for new solutions, okay, I want something other than a pill. Because I did the pill and I feel like it failed in the end. It was good for a while, and then something else is needed. My body gave me the message. Something else is needed. So that's what you've been doing, honoring your body by looking for other ways of addressing whatever the deficit is. So, number one, there's a deficit. Energy isn't getting where it needs to go when there's an issue. So you have created some energetic routines to supply more energy. Now, the next step is getting the feedback from the thyroid or from the part of the body, from the unconscious mind. Is there something else also needed? And that's something you want to check in on once a week, once a month, every so often. If you feel as though the energetic work isn't supporting you enough, to ask that other question. What else is needed here? I'm flexible. I'm fluid. I'm capable of manifesting resources. What else should I be looking at? How is the thyroid connected to the rest of my body? Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a process, absolutely. It doesn't come with the guarantee that everything is going to be perfect. But in this inquiry, there's magic and there are miracles. And you can add the optimal future self, having being free of the problem. Who are you that you are free of this? Who do you get to be? What do you get to focus on instead? What do you get to put your time into? Well, what you may find is, wow, I know my body really well. I've created this heightened level of communication, and wow, wouldn't that be a neat world to be in where people have that ability? Maybe I'll add that to what I dream for my world. So all of this is not for no reason. You get to choose what reason it is. As Lazar said, choose the lessons you want to learn from this. And partly it's about the body being part of the illusion, and yet it's also an interface for the more real of you. Your senses dictate what you interpret from the illusion. It's for your benefit. And so it does require attention and intention and action to have the image that you want. And that you are doing. You are responding. You are respecting your body. And you are creating a new map for people on how they address tiredness, energy, understanding the body, communing and communicating, all of those things. All right, we love you so.
Thanks, Tara.
And John, are there any others?
No.
All right, and so we'll go for now. Certainly so, an evening of very beautiful discussions around how can I be more conscious? Is this really an illusion? It doesn't feel like it, and yet it is. And having to restore that understanding and that connection to higher self to determine what's important about this illusion that's occurring in the now. And what do I make it mean about my future? And as you disconnect what you think is coming in the future from what you have right now, now I can dream the dream of me having a perfectly healthy physical vehicle, and I can still have a problem in the now. They're not mutually exclusive. The healthy me is helping me see what I need to heal in the physical plane in order to be that free in the future. All right. And so we go for now. We go with love and peace as we bring Katrina back. We love you so.